What's happening, Hardscapers? This is episode 319 of the How to Hardscape podcast, where we talk about how you can start and grow your hardscaping business. And on today's episode, I am just going to talk about marketing and sales process, what I have done this year. Hit a bit of a slow patch, had a little bit of difficulty with my website, which caused my contact form not to work for a bit. So I have worked with some Facebook ads to bring leads into my business, and what I have done with my sales process to capitalize on those leads coming into my business and the results from that. And I hope that this helps you in some way. But before we get into today's episode, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cycle CPA. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. Patio SEO has hopped on board as a sponsor, and they are a leading marketing and brand building company in the hardscape industry. And if you don't know, this company is run by James Reed. We've had him on the podcast a couple of times, some of our more popular episodes, and he owns hardscape businesses across the country. And now you can have access to the same in-house marketing team that he has access to at patioseo.com. So if you're looking for a killer website, targeted ads, or data-driven strategies to grow, check them out at patioseo.com. August 19th to the 20th, Knowledge Tree Consulting is having another event at Koivik. This event is in Toronto. Koivik is in Milton. I went to their event last year with Earthscape. It was awesome. I can't recommend this enough. There's going to be a link in the show notes for you to sign up for it and get 50% off your tickets today. If you're planning to go to Hardscape North America in Louisville, Kentucky, October 22nd to the 24th, you can use promo code VIPHTH to sign up, get 50% off your registration. That also gives us a little bit of a kickback and helps us here at the How to Hardscape podcast. And without further ado, let's get into today's episode. What I've been hearing a lot recently is that this has been a little bit more of a difficult season than others in terms of getting leads, in terms of getting good qualified leads, going out, and then also closing on a project. Things have become a little bit more difficult than they have in the past 5 years or so. And some people felt this last year, some people more so this year, and some people not at all. So that just goes to being able to dissect those companies that are not having this issue of leads coming in. Where are they getting leads? Where are those leads coming from? Are they qualified leads? But also whether or not they are paying for those leads and what channels they're using to get those leads. All of this is what I try to also dissect in our I Am a Hardscaper interviews, where I do ask where people are getting their leads today in their business, where they're coming from. And we've had a lot of hardscapers that were very transparent in that it's been a little bit more of a difficult year, so they've had to do some paid advertising. Or a lot of contractors have also said that it's been a great year. We invested over the past few years into our brand and into our website, which brings in really good qualified leads. I'm going to talk today about what I have done this season. Now, I have already touched on this slightly in a past episode where this season started off slow, but then we hit a point where leads were just flowing in, and I was quite easily able to book up until mid-June-ish fairly quickly. And then once I get to about the beginning of June, I like to spend the next month trying to get booked out into about mid-September. Now, once June hit, I felt that things died out, and I realized that my website form was not connecting to my email for some reason. This happened actually last year to me as well with another form plugin on my WordPress website, and it happened to me again this year. So I have changed my form plugin to account for this. It is working now and leads are coming in now. So I definitely missed out on a bunch. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to recover it. Last year, I was able to recover my leads from my form provider. This year, I wasn't. So last year in that scenario, I was able to email back a bunch of leads that had come in and close a small portion of those projects, a very small because a lot of people move on. Now, last year was during the spring rush, so I lost a lot. This year was in June, so I assume I lost quite a few, and it probably lasted for about a month or so. And I was just so busy that my head was down and I wasn't even focusing on why leads were not coming in. So what I did was to speed up the process of getting leads into my business. And I do this pretty much, I always have ads running in my business, and I account for that in my budget to be able to budget for $1,000 a month for paid advertising in some sense. And if I don't end up using it, it's just a lump sum money that's there for me that essentially could be considered profit, but I just put it into, at the end of the year, uniforms or new yard signs, things like this, that I just reallocate that money to, because there's always money left over. In the past, I haven't spent exactly $1,000 a month on paid advertising. This year may be a different story. So what I have done so far this year for paid advertising was I did Google ads and I've done Facebook ads. And Google ads have not performed so well for me in my business this year. We got some leads coming in. I used a new tool called Mouseflow, I believe it's called. And you install a snippet of code on your website. And what it does is it allows you to see how people are interacting with your website. So it actually screen records what they are viewing on your website and what they click on as well. So it actually shows sessions from your website. And it really helped me to see what people were doing on my website and what made sense to be where. For example, I had contact forms on the middle of longer pages as well as at the very end. But I found that once people got to that contact form midway through the page, they thought that it was the end of the page and they would click off to another page. Whereas it was really just getting started with the information that I was providing them. And each of my services have specific pages to them that have very detailed information on how we install things, the benefits of for example, a paver installation page, a service that we offer, would have the benefits of pavers, the cross section of a paver installation, and then the process of installing pavers step by step. And because we have our YouTube channel of I Am a Hardscaper, we have a video for every step of the process that I can embed with text explaining what we do at each step of the process for our clients. And they were missing that entire bottom half of that page, seeing our contact form. The contact form takes up the entire space on their desktop or even mobile, and they assume it's the end of the page and they just click off. So I went back, I deleted all of the contact forms midway through the page, and we always have a get a quote button in the top right that they can always click, as well as a contact link as well in our menu. So that's always there for them. I went back, I did that. I found on other web pages a few different things that we could tweak, but for the most part, people were interacting with the page as I had hoped, watching videos on the website, and the videos are just there to show my face, let them know who's actually installing it, but also to explain our detailed step of the process of installing paver projects, retaining wall projects, drainage projects, lighting, etc., etc. All these different things have pages on our website so that we rank for those specific keywords for those services as well. So going back to paid ads, Google ads just were not performing the way I had hoped that they were. I would say that I know less about Google advertising than I do about Facebook advertising, and I could definitely tweak some things in my campaign. I do plan to spend a little bit of time when I do have to learn a little bit more about that, but Facebook ads have been doing really well for me, and especially in this last month where I decided, you know what, I'm going to focus specifically on lift and relay Facebook ads. And because I know in past experience that they usually come with a lower cost per lead, as long as you have a good creative or good content that you're putting out there. So I don't do photos, I do videos. It usually has my face in it, and I'm showing the problem so that that client can see the problem, and then we can show them how we go about fixing it. And that video has been doing really, really well. Our cost per lead compared to a, say, paver patio outdoor living space ad is half. So it's a lot more cost effective. And when it comes to lift and relay projects, they are high profit margin, not a lot of cost of materials as well. It's mostly labor when it comes to those types of projects. So it's great for cash flow. It's great for profitability. And it's just something that I wanted to focus on to be able to get some jobs quickly lined up for July and into August as well. The other great thing about advertising for lift and relay projects, for two reasons. One being that there's this very specific problem that people are having that you can alleviate for them, that you can fix for them. Their pavers are sinking and it's causing a tripping hazard. That's something that somebody needs to get fixed. Their steps are settling and it's causing a tripping hazard. Once again, something that definitely needs to be fixed. So to the second point, these are things that in a more difficult economy, people are still willing to put money into to alleviate these pains points that they're having. That, you know what, if it's their front steps, they need to get those fixed so that it's safe for anybody coming up to their house, that they're not worried that that person is going to trip and fall and they are going to have some liability on their hands. So if you're experiencing a little bit more of a slow season, a little bit more of a slow time period in your season, and you need to line up jobs quickly, creating a quick video of the actual example of a failing patio, failing steps, whatever it is, and showing them what you can do and the before and afterwards, showing your face in the video, it does a lot for getting inexpensive leads coming into your business that is actually qualified, in my experience, compared to those videos, ads that you put out there for a paver patio or for an outdoor living space. So this is where my leads cost has dropped by 50% compared to those two, as well as the qualified leads has dropped 25% in this. So it's like about a quarter of the cost per qualified lead, where we're actually going out and visiting the clients and providing them with an estimate. On top of that, when you actually get out there, there's still the opportunity to upsell them into a brand new patio, into a brand new front entrance, whatever it might be that is failing. You've got your foot in the door to be able to either do a lift and relay if that's what the client wants to do, or guide them through the process of, hey, this is the different options that we have for you. We can, in my business, what I do is we have a few different options. One, we can lift it, relay it. We're going to take out that 1-inch bedding layer because typically it has soil that has gone through the joints. There's weed roots in it. We want to get rid of that. They like hearing that we're going to do that. We replace the bedding layer. We also compact before we replace the bedding layer. Put the pavers back down, pressure wash it, make it look nice. Put polymeric sand in the joints. You got your patio back. You're probably going to get a similar lifespan out of it that you previously got. Now, if it is a patio that hasn't been there for long, this is something that we typically lean them towards a full base repair, or we still provide them with the option of a full base repair. The benefit to that is, well, we're going to completely replace the base so we can actually warranty our work. We do not warranty projects where we have not done the actual base for, and they understand this, and we guide them through, hey, if we're going to replace the base, this is what we're going to do. These are the steps. I send them my videos on everything that I do in that process, so they're comfortable with me, they're comfortable with the person that's going to be installing it, and they're comfortable with the idea of spending the money on that. They understand the different options and they weigh which one is best. Now, the third option is, hey, we're already going to be replacing the base in this situation for an extra $5 a square foot, or whatever the cost of pavers. That's essentially what all you have to pay more to be able to get a brand new project. So if we're going to be replacing the base, your pavers are 10 years, 15 years old. For a nominal amount compared to what you're already paying, you can have a brand new project here. And typically what I have are clients, the majority of the clients sign up for a lift and relay where we're not replacing the base. A very, very small percentage sign up for the actual base repair and reuse their pavers. And a much larger percentage compared to that will actually just sign up for a brand new project because they understand the value add there. And for just a little bit more, instead of just replacing the base, might as well sign up for a brand new project, make it look nice, do it once, and they will opt for that package rather than that second package. We want to take a break from today's episode to thank our sponsor, Cycle CPA. It's crucial to review your financial statements on a monthly basis so you can diagnose areas for improving your business's financial health early before they become significant issues. Too many contractors wait until the end of the year to review their financials as they file taxes, when it's often too late to take action to change the outcome. Cycle CPA not only handles bookkeeping and taxes, but they also ensure that you're armed with financial data on a monthly basis to make key business decisions. They offer benchmarking, cash flow forecasting, and assistance in developing targets for financial metrics. With their team of accountants specialized in the hardscape and landscape industry, they currently work with hundreds of companies in this field. Visit cyclecpa.com, and for $200 off, mention the How to Hardscape podcast. Now back to our episode. And when I run my numbers, when I job cost my projects, I really don't care what the client chooses, as long as my margins are where that I want them to be. And actually, my lift and relay projects are my most profitable projects. So financially, I might do better in selling more lift and relay work, but I do want to do more and more new projects. So I always provide them that option as well. And because of this, I'm able to just give them objective views of what I think is best in their situation, provide them with a quote with either option, and then they can make a budgetary decision on which way they want to go with their project. There's value add there for my clients, and we're also able to diagnose what happened with their previous project, why it settled. Typically, most of my lift and relays, there's stone dust as a bedding layer, or even worse, 2-3 inches. Sometimes the majority or all of the base is stone dust. Other projects, we get there and we dig down and we see that there's barely even a base there. So we're actually able to diagnose why that project failed before we even get started, to let them know which way they should go with their project, just by lifting up a paver, maybe scraping away a little bit and seeing what's there and actually showing them in person. And in that sense, what I do is I have a welcome package. You've heard me talk about this before, but this has really helped me. And instead of sitting there on a consultation and saying, hey, this is how we do our projects. We excavate this amount of inches. We compact our subsoil. We install a geotextile fabric. We build up our base. We even put biaxial geogrid in our base to stabilize the aggregate. We then screed, put our pavers down. We install polymeric sand or a semi-permeable jointing compound, depending on whether we use open graded base, dense graded base, or synthetic base. And then we install our edge restraint. Most of the time we're opting for a concrete edge restraint, and so on and so forth, and just overwhelming them with information. And maybe they're getting other quotes from contractors and they just remember me as the person that just overwhelmed them in the consultation pitch, and they're not even able to compare me to somebody else. But with that welcome package, I just let them know on that consultation, hey, when I send the proposal, and I've actually already sent them this welcome package, so maybe they've already looked at it. But I'm just going to say on that consultation, when I send you this proposal, it's going to have every step of the process, how we install our projects, to make sure that you're going to be happy for years to come with your patio. And with every step of the process, you're going to see that it's hyperlinked, and you can click on that and view me walking you through what this step of this process is, how I do it, and why it's important to the longevity of your project. With those videos, they see my face, they see the person that actually came out to the consultation with them and walked them through their project, sent them the proposal. They see me talking about what I'm talking about. It provides authority to the client that, hey, maybe this guy knows what he's actually talking about. And then as well as the YouTube channel itself, with the views that they see on the video, they're going to see that there's lots of comments on that video. I respond to every single comment. I answer questions. They see that there's even more built-in authority with that. And that's all we're trying to do with this process, with this sales process, and with the marketing of our videos, is that, hey, there's authority here. This is a trusted individual or business in this industry, And this is probably the person that we want to go with, even if they are priced more than the next person that has priced it, because maybe they haven't even gone through the process of how they are going to install the project or fix the project or the steps in the process, or maybe they were the ones that just overwhelmed them in the actual consultation, provided them with a whole bunch of notes that they couldn't digest, and then when they sent the proposal, they just sent a number and no explanation for what they were doing, so they weren't even able to compare quotes, only the dollar amount. And if the client's only looking for the lowest price, it's not even a client that we want in the first place. I know that with my market that I'm priced slightly higher than comparable businesses. And I know this because if a client does not end up going with me and they haven't ghosted me, so I'm still in contact with them, I always ask, hey, why did you not go with us? Just curious if you could help us out. And the 90% of them are saying it's just the price. You're a little bit higher than this contractor. That's fine. I'm okay to lose a job over price. And then with clients that actually do sign up with us, I always ask, why did you end up going with us? It always comes down to that sales process, the videos that we send them, the information that we provided them step by step. The proposal was very detailed. Everything was organized. And at the end of the day, you were more expensive, or if they don't offer that, I always ask, were we more expensive? And it's always yes. So that's how I know that based on my clientele and the clients that I'm serving, I know that I haven't had a client say that they went with me because I was the least expensive. I have had clients that went with me and they didn't even have other contractors on their job site for a consultation. They just liked how I was very transparent with my process and with my proposal. And even going back to that welcome package, which I started this year, just knowing that they got that, they knew who was coming to the consultation and they knew who was actually going to be installing their project, which is our value proposition. At the end of the day, I am an owner operator. I'm going to be dealing with that client from start to finish. I'm not the salesperson handing it off to a designer, handing it off to a project manager who manages a foreman on the job site. My value proposition is, for now in my business, and I know that this will change, but the value proposition for now is that when you deal with me, you're only dealing with me. I am the salesperson in some cases, maybe not in a lift and relay, but if we're doing a new project for them, I am the designer going to be creating the vision for your project. I am going to be the foreman on the project, and I'm going to be managing the project. So with this, you are only dealing with me. We're not playing a game of telephone where you talk to the project manager. The project manager might have to go back to the designer for a redo in something, and then that needs to be communicated to the project manager, and then the project manager to the foreman. There's value there in the client knowing that they have one point of contact, and that point of contact is always going to be on site to answer their questions if it ever come up. And I touch on that value proposition in the welcome package that I sent to them before any consultation. I touch on that in the actual consultation. I make sure at the end of that consultation, I just say, hey, if you are looking at getting other contractors coming out, just know that when you go with us, I'm your one point of contact, and I'm going to be the one installing your projects, and I'm going to be the one on site answering any questions that you have and making sure that you are happy with this. Now, if you are a larger company, the value proposition that you have is ideally you have specialists in each of these different categories, which may put a client's mind at ease. For example, you have a professional designer on staff, or that you sub your designs out to. So they might feel very comfortable knowing that there's a professional designer that's going to be designing their space, and that you have a project manager specifically tied to that specific client so they know who to contact, and a foreman who is a professional who has been installing for so long on the job site, and so on and so forth. Just with the amount of lift and relays that I've done, I know that the clients either went cheap or inexpensive for their budget and hired somebody, and that's the result that they have, that now they need to have it lifted and relayed or redone entirely. The amount of pool surrounds that I've seen in the past 3 years that have been just awful and settling within a year of them actually being done is just mind-boggling. And most of those have just been that they just went with somebody they knew or somebody that said that they could do it. And that is one aspect of the lifting relays that I've done. The other aspect is that it has been done by a larger company, and the installation practices were just not up to the same standard that we would typically see for us hardscapers. For example, I did one this year where it was a 3-year-old project and stone dust was used throughout. There was no geotextile and it was a complete mess. They built a raised planter bed against the masonry of the house. And this was a front entrance, so it was a 3-foot tall planter bed that was built against the house and against the masonry, and there was no relief wall along the back. So the soil was just up against the masonry. The porch had been overlaid and had just disintegrated. The installation standards were just not up to the right standard and in that design as well. And that client went with a larger company and paid a good price for that installation. And those two scenarios are two great clients that are typically attracted to my presentation. The first one being that they've already tried the least expensive route and now they just want to get it done well and by a reputable company. So in my sales presentation, where they see how we install things and why we do what we do, puts their mind at ease that we could be the right contractor for them. Then it comes down to pricing. The second client that I just mentioned there has already gone with a larger company, know that their money that they paid did not give them the result that they wanted. So now they're looking for somebody who may be an owner operator or have more hands-on experience, whether it's in the field or that, you know what, they are an owner operator. They're going to be dealing with me throughout. Any questions that they have, hey, I am on site and I am the one installing it for them. And that client did end up going with me and we replaced their base completely. We actually used synthetic base on that project, and they had questions about synthetic base while I was there. And I explained to them the benefits of it and that it's insulates, so it minimizes frost heaving, which is the exact problem that they were having. And it spreads the load out over a wider area. This is perfect because we weren't having to remove the entire base in this situation, and we're still going to get that insulation and solid base on top of the base that was already there in the first place. And we made sure to compact it as well to make sure that it is nice and stable for you. We want to take a break from today's episode to talk about marketing. Are you looking to take your hardscape business to the next level? Well, this is brought to you by Patio SEO, the leading marketing and brand building company in the hardscape industry. And if you don't know, this company is run by James Reed, who owns multiple hardscape businesses across the country. And here's the kicker. You're not just getting access to any team. You're getting access to the very team that helped grow James's own companies, plus hundreds of others in the industry. Whether you need a killer website, targeted ads, or data-driven strategies to grow, Patio SEO has got you covered. They've been in your shoes and know exactly what works. We've had James Reed on the podcast a couple of times, and there's some of our more popular episodes, talking about branding, talking about how he's built companies across the country. And with that, he needs lots of leads, which means he's had to perfect his branding and marketing. And now you can have access to that same in-house team that he has access to for his own hardscape company. So if you're ready to build your brand and see some serious growth, check them out at patioseo.com. That's patioseo.com, or follow James on Instagram at road to 100ms. That's road to 100ms. Let's get your business the attention it deserves. Now back to the episode. So with all this, from the Facebook ads to the sales process, all I'm trying to help with is, if you are having a difficult time, first off, getting leads, find alternative messages that you can convey in your advertising. If you're not already advertising to get leads, test it out, put a little bit of money into it. I'm happy to help at any point in time if you have questions, but there are great videos on YouTube to help you get started with Facebook ads. But at the end of the day, the main thing is that creative, is that content that you create that actually strikes something when somebody is scrolling through their feed, whether it's Facebook or Instagram. Like I said, I don't like photos for this. I like the idea of having a video showing your face, showing the problem, and showing how you fix that problem. With lift and relays, it is the perfect visual thing to show. And in a more competitive, difficult economy, the lift and relays, step repairs, these things are, one, lower price tags that people are willing to spend on their house, on their outdoor space, but two, typically things that need to actually be fixed. Say a front entrance that's sinking, it's a trip hazard, needs to be fixed. A steps that's falling apart, once again, trip hazard, needs to be fixed. Whereas they might be willing to put off a paver, backyard, patio, outdoor living space in the future if it is a little bit more of a challenging time for people and they're holding on to their money a little bit more. It still doesn't mean that you have to take on lift and relay projects entirely. Once again, you get your foot in the door and you're able to explain the options that they have when it comes to repairing their project and upsell them into a new patio if that is an option for them. A lot of the clients that I go to or reach out to me through these ads, when I make contact with them, they don't even know if it can be repaired, or if, you know what, it's dated, it's old. Yes, it'd be nice to have it repaired, but I actually just want a brand new project. And that's come up in multiple emails, phone calls that I have with these leads before we get even into a consultation. So I can even let them know beforehand, hey, for a lift and relay, if you send me your space, I can let you know what it's typically going to cost and how we go about installing it. And if you were looking for a new project, this would be the cost associated with that. And I can schedule a consultation with you. We can talk through these different options, go over the pros and cons, and actually get you a quote for each of these to be able to decide which one is the right decision for your space. But the marketing is just one aspect of getting through a more difficult time. The other aspect is, once you have those leads, making sure that your sales process is dialed in to be able to capitalize on each and every single one of those leads that come in. If you pay for a marketing company, they're going to tell you the same thing. They're going to bring leads into your business, but if you're not doing your job to call, follow up, and schedule consultations in a timely manner and get those proposals out in a timely manner, you're going to let those leads fall through your hands, and there's no amount of marketing that's going to make up for that. So just as important as your marketing efforts to be able to bring leads in is the sales process to be able to nurture that client from initial contact, getting on the phone with them as soon as possible. This is something that I've worked really hard to do this year, particularly something that I haven't done a great job in the past. But as soon as that lead comes in, I send them an email and then I get on the phone with them. And if they don't answer the phone, I leave a message saying, I sent you an email and I'll be following up with you in the future if I don't hear back from you. And we're going to get this process going to help them with their project. Once we've made contact, I then ask them for a photo of their current project to be able to provide them with a ballpark estimate for a project of their size based on the photos, just to let them know if we are going to fit within their budget. I don't like asking them for their budget for lift and relays. Lift and relays are fairly straightforward with that. I should be able to give a pretty accurate ballpark range for that lift and relay after they've sent me the photo. Now with an outdoor living space, it's much more important to ask for a budget because there's design that goes into that and features that can be thrown in for that budget and so on and so forth that comes with that. But for a simple lift and relay, it is simple and it should be fairly easy to give a good ballpark estimate. Hey, are you planning to attend HNA Hardscape North America, October 22nd to the 24th in Louisville, Kentucky? Well, you can use our promo code VIPHTH to get 50% off your tickets, or you can click the link in the show notes below to register for this. I've gone the past 2 years It is awesome. A massive trade show along with the Equip Exposition with more than 1,000 exhibits, 42,000 square feet hardscape house, as well as a 30 plus acre outdoor demo yard that you can demo equipment. There's the H&A awards ceremony. There's lots of educational sessions throughout the day, and there's more than enough events before and after the trade show itself. I've always enjoyed my time. I'll see you there. Use the code VIP HTH to get 50% off your tickets and register sooner rather than later, because tickets do increase leading up to the show. Along with that ballpark estimate, I send them my welcome package and I explain in the email, hey, I've attached this PDF. It has more about us. It has our portfolio in it, so you can see some of the projects that we've done. It has how we install our projects step by step. And you'll notice in it that we have videos linked in all of our photos with a play button. Feel free to click play on that, view our actual work, and see how we install things for yourself before we get on site with that consultation. From this, I've already qualified them. If they are interested, they're going to say, let's schedule a consultation, and we schedule that consultation. And as I mentioned through this podcast, what I talk with them about on that consultation, especially for lift and relays, those different options, and I'm going to price each option so you can choose the best one for your specific budget. In addition to that, with doing these lift and relays, you're going to be doing more projects than you would be with a full design build installation. What that means is 1, more chance for word of mouth referrals, 2, more opportunities for Google reviews, and that's going to help your SEO and actually ranking more and more higher for your Google search results. And 3, the opportunity for more work from that happy client. It's actually not hard to make a lift and relay client happy. They know what they have, and they know that anything that they have now is worse than whatever you're going to do with it. And ideally, you install it, you make it look nice, and it should look nice. But with a design build client, there may be some things that maybe they weren't so happy about, or the pavers show up and they are a slightly different color than what they had actually imagined when you first talked to them about it, or from the samples you dropped off or the photos you sent them. There's a lot more things that can go wrong with that design build client than with that lift and relay client. That lift and relay client's happy. They're going to provide word of mouth. They're happy to provide a Google review. And then this year already, I've done 2 lift and relay projects, and it's actually expanded. We only did a portion of their project. One was a front walkway. Now we're going to do their backyard patio 2 months later. The other one was a front walkway, and now they want to do their side walkway because of how much different it looks compared to that front walkway there. So even more work coming in from that initial marketing spend. So now with that marketing spend, with more work coming from those specific clients, our return on ad spend actually drops significantly with those. So not only is our ad spend lower with these lift and relay projects coming in, but our return on marketing spend continues to drop, especially with word of mouth clients that are coming in from these lift and relay clients. And that is just my pitch on expanding your services if you're not already doing lift and relay work, and if it is a difficult time of year for your business to be able to bring in leads, this may be an option for you to expand what you're already doing, to keep your crews busy, to keep yourself busy, to be very profitable with these lift and relay projects, and to help your business out, especially this year. If you're not as busy, now if you are completely busy with all your design build work, that's great. Still make some time and invest some money into your marketing. It's very easy to get carried away with your business, be very busy, put off working on your website to get ranked at the top of Google's results in your area, put off getting Google reviews, put off these things. But then when the time comes when you need them, you should have already been working on them, because these things do take time. The organic search results, getting content made 4 times for ad creative and so on and so forth. Take the time. I have talked to contractors that have said that things have died down for them this year, especially. And then I talked to them about things that they can do, but it would have been better to start them 3 years ago as opposed to starting it right now when you are less busy, when you need it the most. It's that investment for the future, to invest into your website, to invest into the content that you put out on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, whatever it might be. That's why I did spend the time on my website in the off seasons. That's why I did spend my time on YouTube to get that ball rolling, because I knew that I could use those YouTube videos in the sales process for my welcome package to create authority. And it's also it's a lead generator as well. A little bit less this year than the past 2 years, but still is a lead generator. And not only that, it also brings in money from the ads that play on the videos as well. So that's what I did for my business for the past few years to set myself up for what we are, or some people are, experiencing right now. So it's all about that investment in the past for the future, and not waiting for when times get tough to be able to then decide that now you need to make that investment, because then it comes time to actually spend money on ads and hope to land projects from that. It's always best that a client finds you organically, goes through your website, they fill out the contact form, or even better, finds you on a YouTube video, finds your company, reaches out to you and says that you are the hardscaper that they want doing the project, because they see your videos, they see your face, and they see you installing them. Same thing could be said for Instagram. I just decided to go the YouTube route personally. Knowledge Tree Consulting, George and Peter of Oriole Landscaping. You've heard me talk about them on previous episodes. They have an event coming up August 19th to the 20th. This is going to be a behind the scenes tour of Koivik, a second generation multi-division firm known for operational excellence and exceptional results. I went to a Knowledge Tree Consulting event last year. That was with Earthscape. You've heard me have Sam Bauman on from that business, and this was a really great event. I cannot recommend this enough. The first day, there's going to be a welcome reception and an optional networking dinner. The next day, early in the morning, departing for Koivik, doing the facility tour, which includes the shop, soil production, specimen tree nursery, office operations, and client experience. So you rotate through those different areas. And then after that facility tour, back at the hotel, there's going to be strategy sessions and then an evening dinner. This is in Toronto. The shop is in Milton. And there's going to be a link in the show notes for you to get 50% off your tickets through the How to Hardscape podcast. So click that link, learn more about that event, and register today. But hey, that is just my 2 cents on helping you through a possible more difficult season and just changing things up in your business to help your marketing efforts and to help your sales process to be able to make those marketing efforts actually pay off. If you have any questions, you can reach out to me at How to Hardscape. I'm happy to answer anybody and everybody, but also let me know what you think of this actual episode. I'm always curious to know what you think about me rambling on these specific episodes. Leave me a message at How to Hardscape on Instagram, or if you're on Spotify, you can actually leave comments on specific episodes. And while you're there, 5-star rating, review, I would very much appreciate that. And before we leave, we want to say thank you to our sponsor, Cycle CPA. If you're looking for bookkeeping, accounting, CFO services, reach out to Cycle CPA at cyclecpa.com. Let them know How to Hardscape sent you for money off their services there. PatioSEO.com. And now you know Patio SEO can take your hardscape business to the next level. James Reed and his expert team have built a reputation on success, not just for their own companies, but for hundreds of others just like yours. So don't wait. Visit PatioSEO.com to learn more and get started. But also be sure to follow James's journey on Instagram at Road to 100 M's. That's Road to 100 MS for behind the scenes tips and insights. And I do recommend checking that out and following along to that. Ready to build your brand? Patio SEO is here to help you every step of the way. August 19th to the 20th, Knowledge Tree Consulting is having another event at Koivik. This event is in Toronto. Koivik is in Milton. I went to their event last year with Earthscape. It was awesome. I can't recommend this us enough. There's going to be a link in the show notes for you to sign up for it and get 50% off your tickets today. If you're planning to go to Hardscape North America in Louisville, Kentucky, October 22nd to the 24th, you can use promo code VIPHTH to sign up, get 50% off your registration. That also gives us a little bit of a kickback and helps us here at the How to Hardscape podcast. And we look forward to meeting you next week on the How to Hardscape podcast.